Welcome back to Business Owners Speak. Today, I'm thrilled to have with us Aubrey Chesson with Cup of Sugar. Aubrey, how are you today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Really nice to have you on and a pleasure to meet you. And we appreciate you taking the time. So like I do with everyone, if you could start us off with, tell us a little bit about you and the business.
Oh gosh, so many different facets of it. So there's short stories and there are long stories. So the short story is that I came down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the yachting industry after graduation. So still in South Florida, and have just been on this beautiful journey of figuring out what is my purpose, how can I help serve? And the short answer is that I'm really good at helping people. So I have created a boutique luxury concierge business, Cup of Sugar. It's rooted in the suburban culture of my North Carolina roots, where you go to your neighbor and you ask to borrow a cup of sugar, half a stick of butter, a lawnmower, a babysitter for the day. So it's really trying to create this environment again where we are comfortable going to one another and asking for help and able to delegate tasks and really serve one another on a deeper level. And so my business truly is I do whatever you need me to do. There are other concierge is this beautiful umbrella that can do tickets and dinner reservations and book your flights for you and travel itineraries. I focus on the personal. The way I like to say it is that I'm the one that you trust to bring your grandma a casserole when she's in the hospital. So it's a very intimate, it's a very intimate bond that I like to create with my clients, and we just intuitively work with one another, and I'm able to assess what areas of their life may need some extra hands.
Very cool. All right. So take us back a little bit into how you got into the yachting world. And were you like in college when that happened?
Yeah, so I was from North Carolina, born in Maryland, but grew up in North Carolina, so went to UNC Wilmington, have a international business degree, minor in Spanish, did the whole college thing. Parents put me through school. What am I going to do with my life? Business sounds like a great master to have. And then my junior year, I heard about the yachting industry. I was serving in a private home, and a woman who was a previous chief stewardess said, "You should work on yachts." I was like, what is a yacht? Wilmington has maybe 50-foot sport fish, but I had no idea. And at the time, nowadays, obviously with the TV show, tons of people know what yachts are and they all want to work on yachts and everyone's chartering yachts. So, but back then, it wasn't it was a very small, intimate industry. So I flew down to Fort Lauderdale, got all my courses the year before I graduated. And then come graduation year, I gave away my cat, sold my car, got rid of all my belongings, got a one-way ticket down to Fort Lauderdale year after graduation. And just you stay in these hostels that are for crew houses, and you start day working and putting your CV out, and basically you're kind of your own independent contractor. And it took me 6 weeks to get my first job. Took me down to St. Thomas, and then I've gone through the Panama Canal. I've done an Atlantic crossing to Monaco, and it was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my entire life. But it really established essentially what I'm doing now, of just this high level service where I need to be proactive with serving and caring for others versus having to wait for somebody to ask for something.
Okay, well, interesting journey, of course. And I guess a couple of passions may have come out, but most importantly, the one to serve. Is that kind of what led to coming off the yacht and then deciding I'm really good at taking care of others and helping others? And so that led to what? How did you kind of take that next step?
Yeah, so a couple more steps till I got to where I am, but truly yachting, what I loved about yachting is I loved providing people with this phenomenal experience. You get to see their families bond, they're in these beautiful locations, you get to decorate the table, do theme parties. So, but I wanted to be land-based. I was trading in my duffel bags and my, nomadic lifestyle, and really wanted to settle down and establish some roots in my life. So what can I transition that to? So I went into wedding planning. And come 2020, I was about to have my very first wedding in April down in the Keys. And lo and behold, we all know what happened. So it just kind of imploded my world. And what truly started the birth of Cup of Sugar is that I went grocery shopping. I printed out business cards, I put them around on people's mailboxes, and I said that I will shop for you during the pandemic because nobody wanted to go outside. And that was my little side hustle to keep me going. And then from there, just new opportunities, met some clients that needed some help packing up their parents' 4 estates. They unfortunately had passed away and they needed to get rid of these 4 massive estates. And so I show up with my clipboard and some research under my belt and said, okay, how can I move estates? And now these clients have really become the center of my business and have allowed me to realize that I don't have to put a structure so much on what Cup of Sugar is. Cup of Sugar gets to flow wherever she gets called. But the moving is my foot in the door, because one, everybody gets stressed out of moving their own items. For me, I can go in and I can help you downsize your closet and dump out your junk drawers and unpack and pack super, super quickly. And then you see, okay, wait, like I need her. I need this in my life. And that's where the beauty comes in, because it's now, okay, hey, can you pick up my dry cleaning? I've got friends coming over. Can you set the table? Can you pick up decor items? And the bigger aspect that has recently come in is now I'm an intuitive energy healer. So it's starting to form this very holistic, how can I best serve you, Matt, as a person? Not just taking care of your to-do list and picking up your laundry and dropping off. It's how can I help you live your best and most aligned and balanced life while doing all of those other things as well.
I definitely want to hear about the energy healing. But before, I had one other question just about growing up and in college. Did owning a business was that always something that you wanted, or did it just kind of evolve that way?
I think it's always something I've wanted, and in the past couple of years through my own healing journey have, really interested in my ancestors and my parents and my grandparents and how they started. And so both my parents are entrepreneurs. My mom has her own therapist business. My dad has done various entrepreneurial pursuits. So I'm definitely not the only one. My brother is now going to open his own practice, my sister-in-law. So I kind of come from an entrepreneurial family, at least first, second generation family. And I like the idea of being my own boss. I think that's the main point of it, as far as what I wanted to do with my life, how I was going, what this business was going to look like, what's the 5-year plan. Yachting was the perfect thing for me, because you live your days moment by moment. You don't really think of a big picture because things are constantly changing. So yes and no. I like the idea of being free. I think for me, freedom is truly at the heart. And growing up, I had lemonade stands, I dog sat, I babysat. So I always had these side hustles, but it's now just in the last couple of years that I've started to apply it and learn, okay, how can I actually make this something that lasts?
Sure. Okay, so as your services start to broaden, and talk to us a little bit about what you mentioned with the healing.
Yeah, so the energy healing, again, as everything does in life, it seems to sweep you off your feet, and you never, anytime you think you have a grasp on your reality, it likes to just shift course on you. So that came in again with 2020. I think 2020 was a really big year for people to go inward. We were cut off from one another. We were cut off from our jobs, our purpose, our ways to make money and security. And so we were stuck inside of ourselves, and we had to ask ourselves some really big questions of what is life? What is my purpose? Am I truly happy? And for a lot of us, I think it's been a beautiful rebirthing of people stepping truly into their power and getting away from the mainstream that society wants us to. So for me, it came into wanting to take an energy healing course. So I did an 11-month training, and it dabbled in all these different modalities, but the main one is that I'm a Reiki master. And so Reiki is this really beautiful, I would call it an overarching ability that allows you then to harness your intuitive abilities. So Reiki energy it's a Japanese healing system where you essentially are able to channel universal life energy. So like chi energy, or just think, I don't want to get too crazy intense with it, but everything is energy. We are made up of atoms that are 99.99% empty space. So what does that mean is that we are just vibrating with all of this potential, and our bodies need to be stabilized and balanced. And when you start to look further inward, you can kind of notice the same way that you would notice if you're hungry, or that you need to, go to bed because you're tired, that you notice, hey, when I'm around this person, I'm really upset. Or when I walk into a bar, that it doesn't make me feel good, and I feel like I have to perform or I have to drink more. And so for me, my desire is to use my training and use my intuitive gifts to help you discover what those things are inside of you. What are those blocks within your physical, mental, and emotional body that you may not even know about? But when we enter into this really intimate space together, generally I'd start with some incense, do a guided meditation to really get your conscious mind out of the way, because our logical minds don't serve a place in energy healing. It's a very heart-centered space. And then from there, things just come up. You start to, you might receive messages, you might have understandings, your body may release tension. In Reiki, a really cool thing that happens is people's bodies twitch, they might heat up, you might see colors, and that is all just energy channeling through and moving through your body. And that carries you through in so many different beautiful ways. And you find yourself looking back and like, wow, I never imagined this happened. I didn't believe in this. This is, some crazy woo-woo stuff, but we're coming into an age where science and spirituality are coming hand in hand. There are so many tests of what meditation does for you, what energy healing does for you, what yoga and balancing, your mind, body, and spirit. And it just opens you up to truly live your highest purpose.
Fascinating. All right. So what does an ideal client look like? So if someone's sitting at home and they need X, Y, and Z, what would make them think, okay, Cup of Sugar could be perfect for me?
Generally, it is someone, like I said, so right now the business is shifting again. We're going through yet another change of how can I put the energy healing on the forefront, right, which is a little bit more difficult to, I come with a very unique package. Yeah. But before it was just the moving. So I worked with realtors, and it was somebody who needed their house moved. And that's what gets in. But now it's shifting into an attraction. So again, with energies that you either vibe with someone or you don't vibe with someone. So now that I'm coming into, this is my purpose, this is how I want to serve, and I truly just want to help people, it is attracting those aligned clients that already know that they need me. They already are attracted to the Reiki healing. And then on the side of that, it's, my executive assistant, she's great with the computer aspects, and maybe they need help, balancing all of their receipts and organizing their files on their computer, tidying up their office space. And then, their kitchen just got remodeled, so they now need me to come in and really spice up their kitchen, because thank goodness for the yachting industry, I see everything in Coke cans being turned in little lines and color coded. And once you've worked on boats, you can see every tiny, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. So my ideal client, truly, I don't have 100% answer, because I believe that we just attract one another, and that I don't specifically know what they're going to need until they come to me, and then we start from there.
Sure. And so what are some of the things you're doing to kind of create that attraction, or to find new customers, or for clients to find you?
Yeah, so I have recently, this is probably one of my first real relaunches of what I'm trying to do, and switching the energy healing to the forefront, because it's a trickle down effect. And I have, between my clients, it has been a really beautiful flourishing of a word of mouth. One person sees me and they tell their next friend. I am really great at just mouth to mouth networking with people. I go to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, but for myself personally, because again, I believe that your greatest work for your business is working on yourself. And so I've actually gotten off all of social media. Probably about 6 months ago, I deleted all of my social media accounts and just reclaimed all of that energy for myself. And where it goes from here is I essentially have to start back over. I have to start with redesigning my website, getting flyers out there, going to, Fort Lauderdale is a beautiful place with all these Saturday morning markets, offering 10, 15-minute Reiki sessions. With my energy healing, I always do a free 30-minute session, first session, because it's something you feel. It's for most people, the spiritual and energy healing worlds, thank goodness, have become much more popular and much more sought after, because I think people want answers, and we want healing, and we want to free ourselves from the burdens that we feel. So it's more and more common, but a lot of people are very hesitant. So I truly am in the belief that you either feel it and you enjoy it and you vibe with me, or you don't. So I never charge for my first session, but truly I'm under the belief that once we enter into that relationship, we go. So it'll actually be a lot of fun. So essentially I just get to go flit around these festivals and go talk to yoga studios, go talk to chiropractors, and market my services and say, hey, this is something I would really love to offer your clients, and would you mind allowing me to take part?
Yeah, great. So Aubrey, as you're kind of discovering your journey as a business owner, I'm curious if you had some words of wisdom, some advice for other people that might be in your position as a somewhat of a new business owner, or in a job, but they have a passion and they're thinking about taking the leap, but they don't know how to make that decision. Any thoughts on that you can share with other potentials?
To trust that the dreams that have been placed in your heart have been put there for a reason. And the bigger and the crazier and the more out of reach that they seem, they are exactly what you are meant to be pursuing. It is meant to be sticky and uncomfortable, and you're meant to be scared and insecure and go through massive periods of instability, but that shows you're truly on the right track. Patience is a virtue. I think all entrepreneurs think it's going to happen a lot sooner than it is, but if you just keep working and working and working, and as well as receiving, being in touch with my feminine, I truly believe the world is moving away from this masculine, work hard, wake up at 4 a.m., don't, go to bed at 2 a.m., work 15 hours a day, drink a ton of caffeine. It's when you become in alignment with your purpose, it works with you, and you have to work. You don't have to work as hard, and it becomes more play because it's a passion. Your passion wakes you up. And definitely to get help very early on. Get an accountant to help you with all of your bookkeeping, or even just a bookkeeper, so that you are legitimizing your business from day one. That's something I didn't do. I just flowed into it. It's like, this is how I know how to make money, LLC'd myself. And now it's okay. I need a coach. I need an accountant. I need business lawyers. And those are all steps that I should have taken right out of the gate, because I potentially could be a lot further and have more of a system behind me. We are as strong as the people we surround ourselves with, and being an entrepreneur can be a very lonely path. And someone said something to me that really put things into perspective about a year ago, is because, I want to start hiring on employees. I'm really ready to take the next step. So it's not just me and my business. And I have this crippling fear inside. And he's like, Aubrey, every entrepreneur, every business person feels that way. Anytime there's a next up level, they feel that fear and that instability, and they have no idea how they're going to do it. So he was like, you are exactly in the right space.
Yeah.
And so it's a journey, but creating this freedom for yourself I truly think is the highest purpose anyone could find in their life.
So as you're kind of looking at your mix of services, what does the next step and what does the future look like for the business?
Yeah, so the future of Cup of Sugar is to establish healing centers, to establish these communities. Cup of Sugar is neighbors helping neighbors. And so what better way than to create a hub where, one, I am able to work with my business, my concierge services, as well as bring in everybody into this one space where I can now support other businesses. I can support the personal trainers. I can support the, you know, the full moon yoga. I can support the in-home chefs and really create this fun, unique, healing place where people feel like they can walk in, they can be heard, they can be seen, they can explore new avenues, they can request anything that they need in their life, and truly allowing what I have cultivated and what I have created in my life to now bless and create abundance for everyone within my community. Because I'm really seeing that the world, as we know, is going in a very different direction than love and unity. And it really is going to take a lot of work to unite us back together and have these safe spaces where we can truly understand what it is to be human and to love one another.
Love it. Connecting the universe with abundance. I love the word abundance. So
abundance. Oh yeah. Prosperity and abundance. It's our birthright.
there you go.
So,
I wish everyone had that mindset, Aubrey. Life would be a lot easier, right?
It would. It would be. I have hope though, right? We have to keep the faith, keep the hope, and one day, and I think one day very soon, we are going to live in a much different and much more beautiful world.
Well, people like you are driving that forward. So, Aubrey, really appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck with Cup of Sugar.
Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate this.
You bet.